Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Heart and Hustle, Visionary Healers, Movers, and Shakers. I am your tribal hostess, Paulette Rees-Denis, and it is my delight and pleasure to bring you these episodes of magical movers, inspired shakers, healers, artists, incredible people from around the globe to share with you, to inspire you, to be inspired by, with, to help complete our circle of magic and power and beauty as we create and continue to expand throughout the world, bringing even more joy and pleasure and magic and creativity and abundance. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this growing circle with so much gratitude for you. Blessings, my friends.
Okay. All right. Welcome to another episode of Heart and Hustle, Visionary Healers, Movers, and Shakers. I am your tribal hostess, your movement motivator, your passion instigator, Paulette Rees-Denis. And I am coming to you with another exciting episode. And Amy Scott Grant over there on my side. I'm not quite sure which side she's on.
The other side. We do it again. Side. That side, yeah.
Is with me today from Colorado, and I'm so excited because we've been trying to do this now for a while, trying to get together and have this conversation, and we're here. Yay! I'm so excited to meet you, Amy. So I'm going to read Amy's bio because she is a spiritual ass kicker, and I freaking love that. I love that moniker. So since the tender age of 13, Amy Scott Grant has captivated audiences of all ages and demographics with her razor-sharp wit, contagious enthusiasm, and bold authenticity. I love that. Blessed with a gift for reaching people at their core, Amy has grown and cultivated this talent to pursue what she is most passionate about, assisting people in creating rapid results by permanently clearing their deepest blocks, doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs. I won't read any more because you can tell us more about it, but you've written books, you're a speaker, you do coaching, you do spiritual counseling, you do kind of everything. Kind of?
Kind of.
In that genre. She's a DLOS just like me. That is, does lots of shit. And I'm just so excited to bring her here. So Amy.
Yes, Paulette.
Tell us something about yourself.
Oh, do you want like an obscure fact?
Well, sure.
Before I had kids, my husband and I logged over 300 dives as scuba divers. And we actually once got the opportunity to pet wild sharks, like in the wild. It was crazy. Yeah.
That is freaking awesome.
You know, then we had kids. So I think since we had
sharks
kids,
are
we've been
kids.
scuba diving like kids. 3 times, right? So, but yeah.
Wow. And have you scuba dived since then?
Like 3 times since having kids.
Amazing.
Yeah. So.
Whew. Wow, that's pretty awesome. But kids are awesome. That's great. Okay, now, so what do you do in the working world? What's your superpower?
Permanently clearing shit, like really. And I remember I've been doing this a long time, probably like 12, 13 years at least. And I remember when I started doing this, a friend of mine was getting into SEO, right? Which no one knew what even stood for back then. And so he's like, no, we could do this. And he's like, I need people to practice on. He's like, so Amy, like, tell me what you do. And he's like, tell me what you do. And I'm going to help you, like, people find you on Google. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Right. So I'm telling him all this stuff, like, clear blocks, clear limiting beliefs, like remove obstacles. He's like, Amy, no one's searching for this. And I'm like, well, I don't know what they're searching for, but they need it. Like, so that's just the curse of like being ahead of the curve. Right. So now I'm like, I feel like, now it's cool because people like search all kinds of stuff around that now. Right. So I think it's easier to find people that can do that. But how I started out, Paulette, was I was using other people's methods, right? And I was very frustrated with the lack of permanence on everything that I had tried. And
so wait, so when you say you're using other people's methods, are you talking about in the spiritual realm? Are you talking about okay.
And we're talking like back in the day, right? Like, so go back, like, I don't know, 14 years or something like that. So like EFTs happening and like what was it called? Like the Q method. And I don't even know if some of this stuff is even still around, but I will never forget when someone taught me how to do cord cutting. So I was upset about something. And this woman who was trained in like pranic healing and pranic energy healing methods, she was like, oh, I'm going to teach you how to do a cord cutting. So I do a cord cutting, and then I was like, oh, that was great. And then 15 minutes later, I call her back up and I was like, okay, I must have done something wrong because it's all back. And she goes, oh, no. Like, honey, you might have to cut that cord 100 times. And I went, oh, hell no. I'm not doing anything 100 times. You got to be kidding me. Because I was like, as I was learning other people's methods, that's what I got so frustrated with, was the lack of permanence. And I'm like, I've been around a long time. So I have like a lot of shit to clear. So I cannot be clearing the same stuff 100 times. Right? So I'm all about like efficiency. So that was when I started sourcing my own methods, because I was like, if we're all energy, then you can't tell me there's not a way to have things be once and done. So how I started, I never like set out to be the spiritual ass kicker. Really, I was just trying to clean up my own crap all those years ago. Still am, actually, but there's less now, right? But then, oh my God, that's like all I did. I feel like it was almost a full-time job working on myself. And I was like on this like quest to make things permanent, right? And so through the process of that, I ended up sourcing like all my own methods. And then, you know how it goes. Then people start showing up like with the same problems you just cleared. And you're like, they're like, can you like, do you know any way I can be helped with that? And you're like, maybe. Do I really want to talk to you about this? It's kind of scary at first, right? I think everybody kind of goes through that too, where you're like, you use all these disclaimers, like, this is going to sound really weird, or I'm just telling you what worked for me, or whatever, which like, I don't do any of that now. But I mean, in the beginning, that's kind of how it was, right? And I think the first time too, when somebody's like, what do you charge? It's like, gulp, so now it's like, well, whatever. I've been doing this a long time. So
now I'm an established business.
What?
Now you're an established business.
Yeah. So it's like, this is what it is. If you don't want to pay that, that's fine. There's other people you can find, right? Whatever. So, and actually in the last, really like probably the last 2 years, the message I keep getting is like, it's more about the books. Cause I just put out like my 11th book.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And I have like the next 2 already drafted too. So those will be sometime this year. And so when it comes to writing, I'm definitely prolific. Like if I had no other responsibilities, right? If I didn't have kids, if I didn't have like a household to maintain, if I didn't actually have clients that I've still kept, I mean, I don't have the client load I used to have because I keep getting the message, nope, shift to books. It's more about the books. It's more about the books. But I thought, well, if I was writing full time, I would probably put out a book every month, right? Because there's that much that the universe keeps saying, and we need a book on this, and we need a book on this, right? And so now I just say back, like, okay, prioritize. Like, what's the next one? Just tell me the next one. And then I usually have to like book a time to like go away from my family for a few days to get that draft banged out. And then, but it's definitely prolific. I could write books all day long, every day.
I love it. So do you feel like, are you channeling the book, or are there just,
I feel like I am. Yes and no, right? Because it depends on how persnickety you get about the term channeling. And some people do, as you know, I'm not persnickety about any terms. So like,
I can't imagine.
Yeah. And like, it's just, and even sometimes like, I know when I have like, I don't know, hundreds of YouTube videos, but I can't find my weaver. It's somewhere around this somewhere. Anyway, when I did the video about the etheric weaver, I'm like, I don't know. It's like linked to a Buddha or something. Just go research it if you want to know what it does. I'm just going to tell you how to use it and get results, right? So like, I don't really care about science behind stuff or why things work. I'm more interested in the results. And I always have been. And that was why they started calling me the spiritual ass kicker. Cause they're like, you just get in there and kick ass. And I go, well, yeah, because like I charge a lot for a session. So like, I feel like we should get as much as we possibly can done during the session. Right. So, I don't remember why I went on that tangent, but what were we talking about?
Your books and your writing and
name, something about the name. I don't know, about what to call things. I don't remember.
So when did you know you had this empathic gift?
Yeah, I tell that story in Change Agents, and I think in 1, 2, 3 Clarity too. But so when I was when I was really little, I was constantly getting accused of eavesdropping when I really wasn't. Not that I never did. I certainly did sometimes, but I think every kid does. But yeah, I would just know things. And my parents were like super conservative, super Catholic, right? And just like not into any of this kind of stuff. And so I would say things and they would just like, they'd like look at each other, look at me, whatever. So it's like really clear that I was kind of like an off kid. And then one day when I was probably about 9 or 10 years old, I saw a person that wasn't there. And my mother's response was like so shocking to me that I just like shut it down, right? I was like, oh, this is not okay. I shouldn't be doing this. And, as you know, Paulette, when we try to like compartmentalize or like shut out a part of us, like it's not a good thing, right? I mean, it's like that kind of has to go somewhere, that energy. So like by the time I was 13, I was like suicidal. I was like, I don't belong on this planet. Like I don't belong in this world. There's no place for me. Right. And interestingly, I just kind of like manifested like the right book showing up at the right time in the most bizarre possible way. And it just completely like shifted my whole perspective on the thing. So then it was all like in secret, right? So I was like, learning how to use this stuff, but like not ever talking to anybody about it. And then when I, when I came out of the spiritual closet, like that was a whole process in and of itself where it was a constant like looking over my shoulder, like expecting religious fanatics to, I don't know. I kept having these visions of like a brick flying through my window or crosses burning on my lawn. Maybe that's because I grew up in the deep South. I don't know, but none of that ever happened. And I can remember the exact feeling, like the day that I cleared the last of that fear, I can remember just clear as day going, oh, no one's coming for me. Like it was like so liberating. Like, oh my God, like, literally no one is coming after me. Like I can just do what I want, say what I want.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's just like unbelievable freedom. Yeah.
Which is what we all desire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable freedom.
Yeah.
So that's wild. That's a great story. And I just love your approach and your audacity and your humor that you bring to your work. I just think
that's what we were talking about. You asked me if my books were channeled.
Oh, okay.
And I said, it depends on how you define channel, right? Well, what I was going to say is it comes in that way because the entire like the topic will come and then sometime, usually within a couple weeks, the outline will just come in order, very specific. Like I can remember one time I was on a walk and I had to like jog the rest of the way home because I was like, I need a computer like right now. And I had to like run home and the whole thing just banged itself out. And then once I have the outline, it pretty much just writes itself, but it's in my voice. So if you think I'm funny, you'll like the books because they're really like in my voice.
Nice.
And that's why I wrote Pendulum Mojo, was because when somebody first showed me how to use a pendulum, I was like, oh, I want to learn more about this. And I went to the library and I was like, Jesus, are these all written by engineers? Like there were graphs and charts and like terminology. And I was like, I just like want to like, no, I just want to.
So I have to write it.
Yeah. yeah. So I was like, well, and then what happened was I love the pendulum so much. Then I ended up teaching all my clients how to do it. I have a low tolerance for repetition. So I was like, I'm just going to record videos. I'll make them watch the video before they do their first session with me. Those videos have had over 500,000 views each. Like I just really didn't want to repeat myself. And that's why I made the videos, and it became like this thing. And, then I wrote the book because, again, I got tired of answering the same question. So I was like, well, just buy the book. It's all in the book. Like literally not thick. But I tell people, by the time you read this book, you could be masterful at truth testing, whether you use, you can use something different. Some people like dowsing rods or, muscle testing, but this tells you like how to ask multiple choice, how to like really, again, you don't have to make charts on anything. There's way more streamlined ways to do it.
I think that's a really good point too, whether you use a pendulum or not, but it's how to ask, what to ask for, and that's how I work with my clients so much, is detailing. We have to detail.
Yeah.
You can ask for more money and here's $1.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or I was like, somehow you get a pile of Monopoly money. And you're like,
yeah, right. Yeah, not quite. Okay. So you have like 1 million books. Are they self-published?
Yes, I have my own publishing company. So I have my own imprint and everything. Yeah. So they're all published under Liberto Press.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually got my master's in publishing and writing, and I've had a couple different publishing companies as well. So
very cool.
It's cool. I only have 3 books. Working on number 4.
Awesome.
I know. Only 3 books.
I know. That's like, how many people do you know that say they want to write a book and never have even written it, much less published it?
Yeah.
So like the first one is a major accomplishment. So 3 is 3 times as awesome.
It's good. It's really good. Yeah. So, okay. So what would you say you said that writing, actually, if you could do anything, it would be writing. But what is the thing that you do most with your clients? What do people come to you for?
People have always found me when whatever else they were doing, like they hit a wall on whatever else they were doing. So I really don't work with newbies. I don't know if that's because of where, that I'm sort of at a premium price point, or if it's just because, you could this is just how I talk to people, right? So I kind of I don't say, okay, here's what we're going to do. In Pendulum Mojo, I do start at the beginning, right? But I assume that people are already kind of in the spiritual realm when I'm talking to them. So I tend to attract people that have either already tried other stuff, or they've already been on this path for a while, or they've already worked with other people or whatever. But there's this one freaking thing that just won't budge for them, right? Or that they got all this other stuff cleared themselves, but they can't make a dent in this thing. So when they've tried other things and they need a huge breakthrough, that's usually when people find me.
Awesome.
And then we find whatever, 1, 2, 3 clarity is about how to do your own clearings, not here's how to do the clearing, but how to find what's at the root. And I also have, I didn't put it out, but I have my own deck. It's not an oracle deck. I actually call it, I say it's not for forecasting. It's actually for retrocasting, because this thing kind of was the same thing. It came to me and I was like, what even is this? I don't even know how to whatever. And then it just sort of put itself all together. And then I had to make other people use it, because I was like, well, how do I know this isn't going to work just for me? It's only the Amy Scott Grant deck, right? No, it's I made other people use it and they loved it. So the deck will help you find the root cause of any block. So that you can go back, because when you go back to that, that origin and you clear that, that's really what I found in all years ago when I was doing my own stuff. I'm like, we have to go all the way back to when that block or belief originated. And if you clear it there, then it's pulling the weed out at the root instead of just cutting it off with the lawnmower and it grows right back, right? If you get it at the root, it's gone. It does not return.
Yes.
But often the root is not from this lifetime. So if you don't have somebody that's that's why I think, therapy, I think, has its benefits, but it doesn't always resolve the issue, because you're typically only dealing with what's happened, in adolescence or in childhood or whatever, when this might be from 17 lifetimes ago. And you just keep repeating the same pattern because you haven't gone back to that root to remove it.
Ooh-wee. Did you get your deck handy? Is it in that beautiful
I
pile of things?
I do. It's called the Spiritual Ass Kickers Discovery Deck.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. It's available on Amazon. So this is, look, and I knew when I made this, I wanted anyone to be able to use it. I didn't want it just to be for advanced people, and I didn't want a booklet. I wanted it to be really simple. This is literally the instructions.
Okay.
And in fact, no, I take it back. This is an ad to join my website. These are the instructions, right? So simple. And then there's just like a little jumping off point provided for each card. So easy, easy, easy. There's 3 different color cards, and the yellow is where the block is located within you. The red is what type of block it is, and they all have these little mandalas.
So who did your artwork?
I did. That's a funny story. And then the blue is
DLOS.
What did you say? I know. I was like, what was that term again? DLOS. The blue is the emotions that are surrounding the block. So let's talk about the artwork because this is funny.
Okay.
And then I'll show you my favorite card in the deck. So here's what happened. So did you know that you can buy blank card decks on Amazon?
No.
Why would you, unless you channeled a card deck and needed to practice with it, right? Because
Wow.
I was like, I can't use paper. I need to actually be able to shuffle and use these. Well, you can buy a card deck that has like, like the bicycle symbol on one side and is plain on the other side, or you could buy a card deck that's plain on both sides. So that was how I created my prototype. And then I was like, I need artwork. I like talked to people. It just like wasn't a fit. I don't know. And everybody that I talked to was like, Amy, you're supposed to do the art. And I'm like, really? I mean, I'm a writer. I'm not like, I paint a little bit with instruction and I don't know. So these mandalas, one of my kids had this app that I don't even remember what it was called, but you can make one of these in about 3 seconds. And everyone is unique.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I know. So I did make all of the artwork, use the app, and I was like trying to like do all this stuff. And then I told my husband, like, can you export these things I make on this app? And he was like, I don't know. He's like the tech wizard. He's like, yeah, we can. I'm like, done. Then I printed all those out. Then I had to match them up with what they went with. But wait, you'll love this. This is my favorite card of all. The Vow of Silence card. Has no image because isn't that exactly what it feels like when you come up against a vow of silence? It's like crickets.
Excellent. That is great. Well, congratulations on that and all of them. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
So beautiful. Oh, you're inspiring, girl.
Thank you.
So
I just want to help people. That's really, and get paid to do it. Let's be honest. But
of course.
That's really what it comes down to.
So I want to talk about you.
What about me?
I want to know what you do to feed yourself.
I cook.
Ha 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 ha.
I'm half Italian, half French, so big fan of food. I love food. So no, what do I do to feed myself? It's interesting because we had such a big energy shift. Like, it's just like the last 2 years, like, right? Like, just so trying, right? Like for everybody, not just me. I mean, it's just been a slog, right? This whole ascension, everybody's like, just over ascension, right? But these last maybe like 6 months, I feel like there's been such a shift, such a moving into self-care, moving into really embodying the divine, right? Not just as a concept, but like legit, like walking around divine in my shoes, right? I don't wear Birkenstocks. Not there's anything wrong with that, but like in my high heels in my neighborhood, right? Like really walking it every day. That I just did a Facebook Live on this in my Club Clarity group literally today. I just did this talking about the importance of relaxation and how, I don't know if you know much about human design, but I'm a generator. So I'm definitely like have a lot of energy to put into things, and clearly type A personality. Like my whole life has been like, hey, let's make it happen. Let's get it done. Right. And the last 6 months has been such a lesson, really the last 3 years, but especially the last 6 months, like basically doing things that were really counterintuitive. Like the more that I relaxed, the more that I pulled back from work, the more opportunities showed up, and the easier they showed up, and the more lucratively they showed up. And so, and I think that goes hand in hand with just embodying the divine, being super aware of our own divinity, which makes it so much easier to recognize the divinity in others, right? And it creates this like different level of unity, as opposed to when you focus on community building and you focus on unity, like that's cool, that's awesome, that's sort of one level of unity, but really being that universal energy shifts like everything and has such a ripple effect out into the world. So I have done less and less and less. It's just amazing because like my income was really high. Like I had a full client load, had all this. And then like 2.5 years ago, the energy just went like took a turn, right? For everybody. I know I've heard this, and not just in our industry, in a lot of industries. So we had to like really come at things like a different way and take a different approach and everything. And of course that looked like in the beginning, that looked like me trying to make a lot of other things happen.
Right.
Which didn't work out so great and expended a tremendous amount of energy and got me very, very frustrated. So it was about like learning to just lean into universal energy and be like, you know what, everything's cool, everything's fine. And like the more that I do that, the more that shows up, and the easier it is for me to just be in the mom space when I need to be in the mom space, even if that's for 2 weeks, which would have made me go bonkers a few years ago, right? I would be like, no, I have so much work to do. Like, I cannot, like, I'd be yelling at my husband or like whatever. No, this is just like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm so much more just chill than I ever have been, right? And everything is just easier. So
what a great place to be in.
Yeah.
It's surrender.
It is. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, yes and no. Like it is, but I also find, or maybe it's just like a redefinition of surrender. Cause I feel like in the past, surrender was that thing that I would do, like literally sending up the white flag. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean? It's like where, okay, I have no other options. I have exhausted every action that I know to take. I've got no choices left. So I surrender, right? It was just kind of like a bowing down. And this is more like if you were trying to paddle upstream and then you just put the oar back in the boat, like that kind of surrender. I don't know. It feels more empowering than I think the way that I would have defined surrender in the past.
I do think, yeah, it's definitely a different definition of what surrender feels like, looks like. And I could see how some people would think it's that kind of give up surrender versus allowing surrender.
Yeah.
And then when you do that allowing type of surrender, things work out.
Everything does.
And come to you, and it's ease and flow. I mean, those are my biggest words these days: ease, flow, surrender, allow, receive.
Yes.
Right.
And the energy is so primed for that right now. That's what one thing I keep telling people, like, is in terms of like of the moment energy, we've just come through this like grueling, transformation, elevation. And it's just been like a slog, right? Like it's just been hard. and dense energy, and just very hard on our physical bodies too, and hard on relationships and all of this. But right now there's like huge support. There's just this big upwelling of supportive energy where you could literally do anything. You could actually do what you want to do, even if you've been trying to do it for the last 2 years when you first got the message that you could do this, and hitting wall after wall after wall. Like all of a sudden you could just fly. You can really go forward and fly. And I don't know about you, but I know me and a lot of the people like in my circles really being called to like ditch a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Purging,
Oh God, yes.
right?
Totally.
Physical stuff, just releasing. And it's not even like, oh, I have to go. It's just like, I just don't want it anymore. You know, that's kind of what I'm hearing people say, and what I'm experiencing too is like, I don't really want this stuff in my space anymore. So it's going easily, as opposed to that garage that you've been dreading clearing out, or, you know, the grandma's antiques that she passed down to you that you're like, oh, I get them, but they have all this old energy, right? Like that you're just like, and then all of a sudden the person shows up who wants to buy them or whatever. And you're like, great, everyone's happy. You know, it's just like,
it's so true. It's so true. I just had a huge purge garden art sale, and bam, I mean, like it was gone before I even opened.
Yes, that's what, and everything like that. Like the energy is so supportive to help us in just releasing, and the, you know, a lot of people having really old shit pop up. Like I thought I was all done with that. Nope. Finish it now and let it go. But it's everything is getting lighter and lighter and lighter, which is such a relief.
And it's so funny because I was last week or 2 weeks ago, I do Facebook Lives every week. And I did one on emerging, because I feel like that's where I am now after this last year, kind of this hibernated space where I was just slogging along, you know, and like I said, I got rid of all this stuff and I started writing my poetry again, which I had been on a blank thing all last year. And injuries, body injuries. I mean, it was a fucked up year.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm like, 2 of my kids had concussions in like the last 6 months, and like random allergic reactions, and I had a surgery. My husband had 2 surgeries. It was like, and we're like, we normally have nothing going on, right?
I'm done with that now, though. Like, done. So emerging.
Yes.
Isn't that juicy? It just feels so good.
Yes. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So, okay. What else? What else can you tell us? We're about done. So we're really good. That's all such great stuff.
Know what? Can I talk about this really quick?
Yes.
Okay. So this is my
camera. I can't read it.
Closer?
There we go. Annabelle the Lost.
It's showing up backwards on mine. I don't know if it's showing up backwards.
No, it's good. You're good.
Okay, good. So this is a novel. So this is my first fiction work, because you know, all this is like how-to nonfiction, all like spiritual stuff, right? Well, this was a spiritual novel about a girl who's in the 4th grade. Her name's Annabelle, and she sort of falls backwards into her gifts and her skills, right? Which, you know, like a lot of us, she had no interest in any of that, was not looking for that. Really, her cat goes missing and she just wants to find the damn cat, right? But in the course of looking for the cat, she meets this wise woman who unlocks her spiritual gifts. And so I wrote Annabelle. It's actually the first in a series. That's the next 2 already written. They just need to be like edited and published. But yeah. And so I did not expect to be writing fiction, but people are digging it. So
love it. I want to read it.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. Wow.
It.
I love to hear how your writing is just flowing and flowing and flowing. And it's very inspirational. That's great.
And I actually wrote this story before any of these books.
Oh, really?
But it got shelved for 6 years.
Oh.
There was, well, I won't bore you with all the details, but suffice to say, I got mired in the editing process, because editing fiction is so different than nonfiction. was, you had publishing companies, and I just like got all marred in that process. And so I shelved it, and then it just started nagging me again. And my husband was like, that book wants to come out. It's time. I'm like, I know. Right. And so, so it literally just came out, I think like 2 months ago, just this year. Yeah.
Congratulations again. Very
Thank
cool.
you.
Oh, and part 2 and part 3 coming up. Hey, so, okay, one question I have for you is, so through all these, I love to talk about your passion, your heart, and your hustle, right? So what have you found in getting your business moving forward? What's been the hustle? What's been the hard part for you? Or maybe there hasn't been any. Right?
Sure. Spiritual stuff's all sunshine and unicorns and rainbows, right? No, really, I'm just trying to narrow it down to one to talk about. Well, I'll tell you so in the beginning, I feel like probably like 3 stages I think I've gone through. Like in the beginning, the biggest challenge was trying to grow a business without anyone finding out what I do. Right? So I think a lot of light workers can relate to that. Like, I want to heal people, but don't tell anybody. I know all this stuff. Right? Like, so that was the biggest first hurdle to overcome.
Okay.
And then the second hurdle was just like trying to sort of clarify what I could do for people with terms that didn't really exist yet, and I think a lot of light workers still struggle with that because people, I've worked with people in like, clarifying their like, elevator pitch. And I go, what do you do? And then I go, yeah, but what does that mean? Like to a regular person, what does that mean? And like, you got to drop that down to like what people can get their head around. Right. So I think, because I went through this whole phase in I told you, like, I'm prolific, right? Obviously I talk a lot, I write a lot. I got so many courses. I've sat down and counted up. I have like 30 programs that I put together over the years. Right. And so I would just like get an idea, or a theme would keep coming up among clients, all my clients. And I would be like, oh, I'll just teach a course on that. Right. And so I would just like put together another course or whatever. Then that was like, how do you even showcase that? How do you market that? So my solution was I just would be like, new course. And then like course got shelved. Right. So now I'm kind of in this third phase of my business where the challenge is, how do I take all of this stuff that I already have, all of the books, all of the programs, since I'm being guided away from one-on-one work, how do I take all this stuff and like package it in one website or in one sort of place where people can find what they need? Because it's all there. It's like almost anything people could come in and say, I really want help with this. I probably already have a course for it, so it would be great to have. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now, is like, how do you even like package all that? And because marketing is not what I love, right? I love sales. I love product creation, like content creation. I am banging at that, but I really don't enjoy marketing. And so, and I know a lot of light workers struggle, a lot of creative types too, really struggle with that.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that in any genre, but and for me, having been in my business for 30 years, and as I shift, it's like, how do I pass it on? How do I maintain the legacy? How do I keep it moving and selling and growing still? And it does, but it's definitely a constant, especially when you have quantity marketing, the page, the physical actual page. That's some stuff.
Yeah. That's what I'm dealing with right now.
Well, Good luck with that.
Thanks.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me tell you, this is what you do. No, no, I'm not going to tell you that, but,
Damn, I had a pen and paper like right here. I was
damn,
ready.
Paulette, give it to me. Go to
Paulette.
my website and no, no, but it's true. I mean, because we do shift, and especially when we have been in business long enough, you know, and we do shift. And how do we maintain integrity with what we've done in the past? And how do we have transitions from past interests to future interests and present interests? I mean, that's all relevant for people who've been in the business for a while.
Yeah.
You know, I work with so many new business owners, but like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years or longer, really. But so it's true. It's definitely a thing that I think about all the time. You know, where is this going? How does this transition? How does this still look? Is it relevant? Do I want to let it go?
Yeah.
Right? Or do I keep it so people can still find it? I mean, I have courses that I was making online classes before online classes were here, you know? So, yeah, that's, just to move forward with that beauty and passion and integrity, and keep highlighting all the beauty that you do. So good.
That's a challenge even in and of itself too, right? Because that, like, I'll no sooner get one book out. No, congratulations. Yeah, okay. And then, like, on to the next thing.
And no, you can't do that.
Yeah. I'm like, but the universe is already nagging me about the next 4 things on the list. So I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like, so, so I think that's, sometimes it's a challenge just to like pause and acknowledge what's been done.
Yeah.
Right.
And someone told me once, they said, you know, have your signature thing and forget about keeping creating things. And I'm like, but I'm a creator.
I know. I think we would stop breathing.
Yeah. It's like, I gotta make new things.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm inspired by you, and, you know, to give you what you need. And I want to give you what you need. And look, I can create this thing. And yeah.
And it's fun. It's just
fun. Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
If I was doing the same thing over and over again, I'd shoot myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can't happen. So it's interesting. I mean, everybody has different takes on it. You know, it's all fantastic. It's all good, which is why I love making Heart and Hustle,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this show, because it's just getting to meet all the different types of entrepreneurs and creatives and empaths and artists. And it's so fantastic. And you are amazing.
Thank you so much for having me out today. I'm so glad we finally got this scheduled.
I know. It's great. It's so great. And even now that I'm in a different time zone than I was yesterday, but which is why I look really dark right now, because I don't have the right lighting in my office and whatever. But anyway, here we are. So anyway, Amy Scott Grant, thank you.
Thank you, Paulette.
That was so fun. And of course, all my beautiful viewers out there in Heart and Hustle land, we'll have all of Amy's contacts. You can always look her up online, but I'll have all her stuff. What's your Ask Amy anything? Ask Amy. I love it. Ask Amy anything.
.com.
Yeah. That's so great. Oh my God. So spiritual ass kicker. So anyway, and viewers, thank you for being here again. We've had quite a full session of laughter here this time around. I love that you're here. I really do. I'm so honored that you keep coming back. This is my 60th something episode in 3 years. Very
That's
cool.
Awesome.
I know. I love it.
Celebrate that.
Yeah. Woohoo. And there's just so many great people out there. And Amy, thank you again for being here. And everybody else, until we meet again, many blessings and have a blast.
Bye.